and go to Leap. So we were asked to give you a little bit of an overview of Leap. I have to tell you, Leap is changing. There will be a new version to be released. I think it was released May 1, Service Pack 1, and it's a big release. You don't have it yet, so I'm not sure if you're going to have it. So I'm going to do this Leap, but the new Leap has more functionality. So Leap comes up. It's a URL. So the URL for your Leap is right here. cat-trade.tasklibraries.ca/Leap web app. One of the big changes that's coming, and systems folks, if you're here, the new version has some administrative functionality. You have to enable users and workstations for Leap. But right now, I'm not sure exactly how that's done, but you are all probably enabled for Leap at this time. This is open web. This is not using remote desktop. I'm on the regular, my regular browser. So I went to this URL. It took a little while to log in. It asked me to log in with my username and password, and then pick a workstation. Pick the name of my workstation, and then it chose the branch associated with my workstation. But I think I could choose another branch if I wanted to. So if you want to see that login, I can do that. And so let me do it. I'll log out and log back in again just so you can see it. So I'm going to log out. And it should bring me back just to a regular page. And then I'm going to log back in again just so you can see the whole thing. Okay. So I went to that URL. I'm not going to bother putting the URL in. It ends with web app, though. Then all this other stuff populates, login, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to put in Sills /PolarisExec. And you'll excuse me a minute. I'm going to stop sharing for 1 second. Okay, I'm back, and I'm going to put in my password and sign in. Okay, so now here's where I can pick my branch on my workstation. It's assuming, based on the workstation that I'm coming in from, that I'm at the Francis Morrison Central Library, and my workstation is Saskatoon Central. I could obviously pick other things on other workstations. Although the Saskatoon Central are all Saskatoon Central, they all say the same thing, which is interesting. And I'm going to go ahead and continue. So now I'm back to where I was when I just came in. Leap is a web-based, let me actually use just a little PowerPoint here. So, not a lot of PowerPoint, but just a little. So Leap currently is for patron services and circulation. It is expanding rapidly. It is intended eventually to replace the client altogether and be everything. That's a ways off. But they're working very hard in the patron services and circulation area right now. And this latest release it's more than a service pack. It feels like a new version, but we'll just stay with this for now. Right now, you still need the Polaris client, and you may work in both interfaces. Leap is web-based. It's designed for you to work from a tablet or a smartphone, any mobile device. You don't have to install Polaris client software, and Leap is basically a kind of like a mobile app that works on top of everything else that's there. So this version before the service pack that was just released, has an all-in-one find tool, and it has a customizable find tool, the ability to save power searches for a specific person. Power searches are common command language searches. It has a renew button for patron registration and a pick list. This version does not have merge patron records or bulk check-in, but the new version that just came out May 1 does. So right now, this version doesn't have much that needs to be set up in System Admin, but the new version will have some specific permissions and some specific stuff that has to be set up. So I'm just warning on that because I think it's coming, and I don't know whether you guys are going to get it now or maybe a little bit later. So this is an all-in-one find tool. So here, if I start to enter a search for a patron, you know, it's actually going to suggest to me because it's a keyword search. And so here I am, right? It's suggesting to me. And now here's we are launching with the service pack. Okay, cool Dale. Well, so you're going to have more functionality than you see here, but I don't have it to show it to you. So there's actually, I'll send you a PowerPoint on the new one when I'm done with this so you can see what's coming. So what we have here, right from the patron record, we can do a checkout for me. You can see the items I have out. You can see my account. You can see my claims and my holds. So let's look at, if you wanted to check something out to me, you'd scan or enter the barcode. So what was that? It was D2345. Okay, it's giving you a block so you can see that I have 3 held items, but we can continue through the block, and you can check out to me. Oops, I failed because my item was in processing. Okay, close enough for jazz. That's all right. If I didn't know what I wanted to check out, I can just go looking for something. So let's go looking for something. And let's see. Just want things to work, so I'm picking something from the collection N. Let's see. Let's do this. Okay, so here's one that's available. We're going to go ahead and take this one. And so now, so checkout was successful. I'm getting a piercing ting in my head. It's making a sound for me, which I'm not crazy about that sound, but it is making that sound. You can see the barcode, the title, the due date, the call number. You can see that I still have the special checkout date, so had I checked that first, I could have checked this out to a different date. Here is the item record that's associated with that. I clicked on it, so now I'm in the item record. You can see the item record. I need to move the chat panel for a minute because it's kind of in my way, so I'm just going to put it up here. So we're seeing, you know, all of the elements of the item record, some of which I can change, some of which I cannot. Here, this is how it's loanable and holdable and all that stuff. If there's blocks and notes, they're there, and then the history is here. There's been some work on the item record display, and you'll see a few little tweaks and changes to put some things that people use a lot faster, available faster. You can refresh here. I can place a hold on the item record from here, but that's an item level hold, I believe. So let's place a hold. Say OK. From select me. OK. So now it's creating a hold for me, and it is an item level hold, which I didn't really want to do. So I'm going to cancel. You can see the other things I have holds on. I had 11 items that have holds on them. This is from training. So most of my holds are inactive and are pending, and I have 3 unclaimed items because I'm up from the whole shelf. In terms of the patron records, you can see all the same stuff you can see from the patron registration and status window, but you're seeing it kind of all together here. We can go to the registration part of this if I needed to make a change. So here, a registration button here, and now I can change to any of the elements. So if I have a different phone number now, whatever, I can make those changes. It's as simple as typing, you know. So now, new email, and when I'm done, I can save it. If I click renew, I believe it changes my expiration date. So let's hit renew, and then it changes my expiration date, and we'll say okay. So that gives me a new, without having to type in the dates, just renew the library card, and if I save the changes now, it'll save the changes I've made, and the record has been updated. Okay, so you can jump through. There's a navigation bar on the left. So I can also search for barcodes. So I could do D2345 here, and that's an item barcode, and it's going to bring me into the item record for that, I think. It didn't. I'd have to say complete. Excuse me. Got to get out of here. So then I'm complete now. Now I'm out of there and I can do it. Okay. I'm breaking your leap. So let's do D2345. As I typed in the D, incidentally, it's, basically giving me a drop down of all the different possibilities. But D2345, as an item barcode, I get one hit. There are bibliographic record suggestions, but here's the item barcode, and that's the one that we were looking at before. If I search by a title, if I type in, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, I could order Prisoner of Azkaban, I can do that, and here's the find tool results. So very easy to use. I don't have to Control-Shift-A. There's no need to do that. I'm seeing all the results. I can, scroll through and keep scrolling if I want to see an item, to view a bib record. Let's say I want to see this, DVD. So in French, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban in French, DVD, and then it would look in the catalog down here. This is the brief view, and actually it's, linkable and searchable. You can look at the full view. You can look at availability. So if you needed to see where this was available first away. Let's see. So here I could place a hold here. That's a title level hold. And then I need to search for my patron. All right, so now I can go ahead and place the hold by double-clicking on the patron, and now we have a new hold for Jules Pinsley, and so now we're in his record. So as you can see, it's pretty pointable and clickable. If you have a touch screen, a lot of this stuff works with touch screen and double tapping. So I guess I kind of have some questions for you, because there's not that much to show in this model. I'm not doing like an organized full thing. Let's look at check-in. We'll look at two more things. We've looked at placing a hold. We've looked at searching for patrons and bib records and items. There is an advanced find. Let me go there. Actually, let me see if I can go to, here's an advanced find. So find tool for patron, basic search. I could change this and say bib record. I could change the search and say power search or SQL search. I can do whatever type of search I want to do. I can choose how I want to do keywords. So I got there by clicking where it said find, and that got me into more detail. So here, if I want to get very fussy and I want to put in, you know, and I want to say that that is not all keyword fields. It's all keyword fields, but the type of search is phrase, and then tell it to search. You know, you can do as much nuance as you need to do to get to where you need to go. Here's the bibliographic record display. I could also change right here from to item to patron because it's an all-in-one find tool. If I go over the settings over here, I can change my columns. I could apply a search filter. So I could add a condition to this, keyword fields. I could add some other element and keep adding elements. Adjacent means in the order I put them in. All or any means all is all the words, any is any of the words, and apply it. I'm not going to. So let's say that I want to put in any, and I want to put in the word television. Okay, so now I'm going to apply that. If I want more filters, I can hit the plus, and then I can add another condition, and I can choose to have to be an and or not. So you can still go crazy searching like a librarian does, but here we've done All in the Family, and we said that television had to be in there, and so that changed our results and gave us less results. So here we see that. So questions so far? Okay, I'm not seeing any questions. All right. You'll notice that search filter is green at this point. That's because I have qualifiers on this. If I click on that, I can remove the filter. So then apply that, and now it's going to do the search again when I say search, but this time without the filter, and I get 136 results. I can change my columns. So I can change what columns display, and I can change their position. So this is, well, can I change that? I cannot change their position yet. I think I can move them around. So if I wanted to put let's say I wanted to put the call number first. So I put the call number first, and then I'm going to say save. So now the call number is to the left, and then the title. That's good if I was going to go do something. Oh, huck, shucks, okay. Hang on a second, I need to respond. Okay. I'm just going to pop back for 1 second to PowerPoint to show the phone number. It's not hearing. I want to put them back up here, and then we'll come right back to Leap. So if you are looking for the phone number, this is the information you need. I'm going to leave this up here for a second. Hopefully that's enough time. If not, I don't know. We're gonna continue now. Thanks, Dale. That's good. Thanks, Dale. All right, good. So we will continue here for a minute. Looking at the bibliographic records at Find Tool and all these other Find Tools, you have options around save the current search and column settings as the user's default, or revert to system default search and column settings. So, good, okay. So that was the little favorite star. So the way I got there was, and I'm going to actually revert it. So I'll revert back to system settings so I don't leave things the way I did. But here's the favorites, default system settings. Once I made a change, which I made over here, to column settings, then I could save them for myself, and every time I log into Leap, it will remember that that's how I like it. Okay, so that's a little bit of the Find tool. Let's take a look at Check-in. So I'll go over to Check-in. In Check-in here, in this version, we have only got the normal Check-in. So if we, if I check something in, it went from processing to available, and now it's in. If there were fines associated with something, let's just see if I can find something. So let me look at, hang on. Let me look for an item. Okay, so let me do an item search. Okay. Okay, so let's see. No, that's not what I want to do. Okay. I'm gonna search for a patron. Let's search for, hopefully I have some fines. Somebody has to have some fines. Let's see. I'm gonna actually make a charge on his account. Let's see. We're gonna add a charge of $5, and I'm gonna select a reason, see note, and the note's gonna say it is Tuesday. That's why. And I could actually associate it with a barcode if I wanted to, but I'm just going to charge. I don't need the $sign. That's my problem. All right, so now he has a $5 charge on his account. So if we were to, well, that's not an overdue though. Let me go here for a minute. I'm going to find items, and I'm just going to do a basic search. I'm actually just going to stick an asterisk in here. I need to find something that's out. Let's see if I can add a limit. Filter, add a condition. I want to add circulation status equals out, and apply, and let's go ahead and search that. Because I want to show you what this does when there's an overdue. It's thinking about it. Can I create item records in Leap? No, I don't think so. Not yet. So I don't believe you can create bid records or item records. So all the cataloging functions are not available in Leap. In the new version that you'll have, there is the manage items. Okay, so this is failing on me. Let's put in Harry. Okay, so it just couldn't handle it. So we'll take Harry the dirty dog. Here's one, or the Best Western. So I'm just going to grab the barcode on this one. So this is out, and it was due. When is it due? Let's see. It was due in March. Good. It'll be nice and late. So let's go to check-in. So we're going to check this one in. And it owes 640, so you're seeing here it pops up with 640, and it makes me deal with it right here. Continue waive charge account. There's a question. This question is on adding items, spine labels. Are we limited to the one that was shown, as ours have spine label and book label, book pocket type labels? Okay, so we'll take a pause here for a minute. Back in the creating of spine labels, I have not gone through and set up different spine labels for each branch. That's something that will need to be done once you go live, or even before you go live. You're going to want to talk with your system admins. The main thing you want to do is to make sure that if your entire branch uses spine and pocket label, and we set up that label for you, that we set it at the highest level possible, which would be branch if it's a single building, or library if all the libraries if all the branches in that library use the same one. So that can be configured for you at either the branch or the library level. I would like you not to do that at the staff level, only because once you get it the way you want it with the right font and everything else, if you've done it at the branch level or at the library level, everybody who uses it, who logs in as part of that library system or as part of that branch, will see the same thing. If staff start messing around with their own spine labels, then they're protected. So if one staff member picks Arial and another staff member picks Arial bold, and then you decide we want them all to be uniform, you have to change them at the staff level once the staff members have done that. So trying to keep things kind of uniform, do it at the branch level at a minimum, or at the library level if all the branches in that library use the same type of labels. So you can check with your system admins. They know how to make those changes for you, and they will work with you on that. Okay, back to where we were, which is the check-in. You'll notice here I'm seeing what is the kind of the equivalent of the normal check-in screen. I have to either continue, waive, charge account, or cancel. One of the enhancements that's coming with 5.1 is that you'll be able to choose the equivalent of the bulk check-in screen, where everything just charges the account by default. So I'm going to go ahead and charge the account. So now it's in transit, and there we go. That's like a quick look at check-in, check-out, patron creation. You're going to be able to merge patrons and create associations and some things that you can't do right now in the new version, as well as creating new patrons. You're going to be able to do a little bit more around changing the due date and more of the stuff that you can do in Client now, you'll be able to do in Leap. So the last of the functionalities in Leap that I want to cover are the utilities menu. So in utilities, this is for dealing with holds processing. So this is the pick list for picking holds, pending holds off the shelves to fulfill holds that are going to be picked up at your branch. So if I go to pick list or at other branches, if I go to pick list processing, this is for the Saskatoon Francis Morrison Central Library. You can see that this list is being created for me, and it's a dynamic list. It's basically created every few minutes. I'm just trying to figure out where to stick the chat pane so I can see it, but so it doesn't block the screen. So here we're seeing it's by collection and then call number. So these are all note collections. If I saw it's the young adult collection, and so these are the need to be from the shelf. So let's say that I'm going to deal with some of these. So I'll deal with 2 of the young adult collections. So I'm going to select them. I've located them. If I click located, it will remove them from this list even before they have been scanned in and put on the held shelf. So located is now an additional status, doesn't exist. You can't do it in the client, but it exists in the client. It lets the person know, it lets the system know that an item has been picked from the shelf and is en route to circulation to be checked in and then onto the hold shelf as the status of held. So this is a kind of an in-between pending and held status. So if I say located, then they are no longer on this list to be pulled from the shelf. I won't have people that have already been pulled or things that have already been pulled. Another big change is that the deny, which is right now right next to located, will be moving to the end where you won't click it by accident. Deny is always a bad idea because what it does, it makes an item unholdable. It will never be holdable after that. There is a new status that will be added in 5.1 called missing, and it will be where deny is. So if something isn't on the shelf, you can mark it missing instead of ask me later. And missing basically moves the thing on immediately to the next library, but if nobody finds it, it might come back to you. Ask Me Later does the same thing, but Ask Me Later is saying, for whatever reason, we can't supply this. So it moves it on to the next library to try to fill it, takes it off of your list. So if I pick one of these and I say Ask Me Later, it's going to take it off my list now, and it will come back around at another time. So I can refresh the list by clicking refresh, and now, this is what I have to pull, and all the stuff, when I get it, I check it in, it will go onto the whole shelf. You can filter requests by collection, so if I put in young adult, now I'm seeing just the young adult. So if that's where I was, if I was using a tablet with wireless or G3 or G4 connection, and I'm working and I have my tablet and I happen to be in the DVD collection and I got a few minutes, I might as well pull some stuff. I can go to utilities and say DVDs and just pull for that collection and then mark everything located. Okay. That's kind of all I wanted to do. I am going to zip back here to PowerPoint for a second and make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, you can have multiple records open. You can basically, what that does is it basically just has multiple windows open. So, so if let me just get out of the pick list here. So, what do I want to do? Hang on, got to figure out where I am here. I'm going to just do the back button now. All right, so here I'm back at my check-in window. If I were to double-click on something, I can open the item record. When I close the item record, right now I'm going back to nothing, but in the new version you'll go back to where you were and have multiple windows open. I could have, if I need to create a new patron, here's a new patron button, and I'll basically get a blank work form, and I could fill it in. I'm going to cancel that. Can you add item records and brief bib records outside of acquisitions? Okay, so not in Leap, but sure, in the client you absolutely can. So brief bib records get added. Let me ask you this. Right, have you guys seen enough of Leap? And I can jump back to questions about bibs and items. Just give me a kind of a yay or nay if you've seen enough of Leap at this point. Okay, I'm getting a yes from one person. I'm going to go ahead and just minimize this for now. We may come back to it. Let's take a look back at Polaris and back to Polaris. So bibs and items. You can create brief bibs and items a lot of different ways. They can be created on the fly in circulation. So if I'm in Circ and I'm in checkout, and I type in, a patron barcode, and, there's patron and then they hand me something and it's, if it's not linked to a record, the system itself will allow me to get a brief form for creating a bib record on the fly. So, there's not for one for Saskatoon. Oh, yeah, hang on. I thought there was. Let's just see. Okay. Public library. I'm going to just copy this. And I'm going to, so I'm copying it and I'm going to pick the other Saskatoon just in case and save this. Let me save it. Okay. So, and I'm going to change the branch actually. Save it again. Okay. Oops. Nope. Wait. I didn't. I thought I changed the branch. Okay. Let's save this. Okay, it was saved successfully, and now I'll close it, and now I should be good. Let's try that again. Check out, and we'll do H345. So now, this is a form for creating a brief record on the fly. So I'm going to call this my, my brief record. Okay, and we'll make it by me. I could put a free text block, but it comes with something called an on-the-fly block. That is, if I circulate this, when I check it in, when I check it out, it's going to keep popping up and telling me this is a brief record that was created on the fly. So this lets it go out. So now it goes out to the patron. It will go out to the patron in a minute, I hope. Come on. And now we're seeing the block. This item was created on the fly and requires full cataloging. Click OK to continue. But it still goes out to this patron. So when the patron brings it back, so if I look at this, actually, let's just take a look at this for a second. I'm going to open the record. This is a record that was created based on the template, and this is the brief bib record that was automatically created based on that template as well. And if I looked at this in the pack, it actually displays in the pack, and it shows, as a book. So, all right, so basically this has a block on it, which is why this is red, and you can see it's on the fly item record. And so that would be probably the fastest way to create a brief record and item from circulation, is just to, circuit. And but if you're not circuiting it, and incidentally, let's just with H345, if that thing comes in, if we're checking in, so then it comes in, this comes back again. And what happens with it now is it really should go to cataloging. So we'll check it in, but then it goes to cataloging, and then cataloging can straighten it out and try to figure out what record it was supposed to be on. So I'm not in acquisition. So in acquisitions, you're importing order records, and you're creating on-order item records at the point of import. But if you needed to create a brief record, it can happen in circulation. What other types of places do you need to create a brief record and an item record? Because you can just do one from scratch. All the same techniques. You have to have a bib record. So if you don't have a bib record, then you have to create a bib record. You can do almost all the same techniques that we were doing with item records with bib records. So, for example, if I needed to create something, kind of based on this, there's the Dogs of War, and let's say I need to create a brief record for the Dogs of War 2. So I can open that record, copy it. I can copy the existing. But, depending on how much you know about cataloging, there's 008 fields that are guided fields that are to be kind of intense, and you have to make everything match up. So I'm not a big fan of this, but if you had to, you would go through and make the changes you need to make. But you should have gone to cataloging class if you're going to do that, and I don't think that I should cover that here outside of the context of a brief record in circulation with an item. So I'm going to pause here for a second and let you guys just think about that, and please text me if there's other scenarios where you need to create a brief record and an item record outside of the context of circulation or cataloging or acquisitions. Okay, so nobody's nobody's texting me anything, so I'm going to assume we can move on. And this last chance on LEAP. Anything else on LEAP that anybody's interested in? I will be sending the PowerPoint on LEAP and the PowerPoint on the new LEAP to Rob, and he can disseminate those, as well as the item record PowerPoint. Not seeing any other questions, so we're going to move on.